Hey everyone, welcome to Unearth with Shelly Hughes. I'm Shelly Hughes. I have here Mary Kate Garman. She is a wonderful friend of mine. And really today I want to talk everything about Mary Kate and her team does such a good job on community experience, community building, goal setting, content marketing, and just really developing an amazing customer experience for her customers and really just her community as a whole, her team. So that's really what I'm hoping to get out of you today.
Can't wait.
And really what I want this podcast to be about. Usually our podcasts are about 20 minutes, but who knows what this is going to turn into, because I think there's so much I just want to ask you out of absolute curiosity.
I love it.
So, in this podcast, we talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly of building a business. I love to talk about the challenges, the wins, the losses, and really lessons learned about growing a profitable, passionate brand. So that's hopefully going to be like the basis of what we talk about today.
Love it.
So do you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, I'm Mary Kate. I am part of the Garman Group. We're a real estate team in Wilmington, Delaware. I got into real estate right out of college, working in property management. My husband and I worked for the same landlord right out of college, and that kind of like started our real estate journey. He encouraged us to get our licenses. Vince went right into residential sales, which is what we currently do. I went into more of the commercial side of real estate. COVID hit. I think everybody, has their little COVID story. I watched his business really take off during COVID. Interest rates went down. The market went crazy. Everyone's kind of remembers that 2020, 2021 real estate market was just absolutely insane. And his business just skyrocketed during that time. I was in commercial real estate at the time, mostly office space. And my business was doing the exact opposite. And I was watching his business take off. And I was just in awe that he was selling, 30, 40 houses a year by himself, no team, no support. We did have one of our current teammates, Cole Cyber, was assisting him at the time, unlicensed, but just helping. And he was doing so well with zero marketing. He had no Instagram, no Facebook, no marketing at all. So during the COVID time, I watched that happen. And I was like, if you just did a little bit of a little bit of content, a little bit of social media, a little bit of like client appreciation, just a tiny, tiny bit, if you're already doing this well without it, imagine where you could go with that, fine tuning. So I just saw an opportunity to just like jump in. So during that like COVID time when we were all home, I kind of started like toe dipping in. I started posting on his Instagram for him. I started sending out an email blast here or there. And I just had one day, I had like a feeling in my gut. I was like, I'm done. I need to join this team. I need to go all in on it. So I just walked in on a Friday, quit my job. It was September of 2021. Little did I know I was already pregnant. So I quit my job on a Friday, found out I was pregnant that Monday. Thank God, because I probably would have never had the balls to quit my job had I known I was pregnant. But I joined the team and I went, head first. And we went from, at that time he was selling around 30 houses a year to now we're selling around 100 a year from that 3 years, since then. So it's really taken off. We are heavy on content, heavy on social media, very passionate, especially myself, about supporting local businesses in our area. I have a lot of friends that are entrepreneurs. I consider myself an entrepreneur and just looking to uplift other business owners. This is a grind, it can be a lonely place in the entrepreneurship world. And I just am super passionate about that. So we really lean into the content world and it's working. It's fun. And yes, that's us, the Garman Group. We're crushing it. It's fun.
Did you know that exact thing happened to me where I launched the business on a Monday and that Thursday I found out I was pregnant?
It's crazy. No, I didn't know that. It's crazy.
Talk about just overwhelm of what the hell did I just do?
I was terrified. Yeah.
And just and not just that, but then you are pregnant, right? And you're grinding, you're doing all this stuff. Like luckily I think we had pretty easy pregnancies.
Yes, I did, yeah. I hated it, but it was easy.
But then at the end of it, it's like, how can I give my clients the same value as not a mom to being a mom? So there's like so much to unpack there. But really, let's go back to your community and community building. I see you guys definitely found, and I guess we can talk about business opportunity, right? you're in real estate, so there's lots of important principles when it goes to, finding a property, and
Mm-hmm.
for you kind of finding a niche.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how did you guys, was it strategic, or did you just kind of like, we live here, we live in this town, it's,
Mm-hmm.
luckily nice up and coming, or
Mm-hmm.
was it very strategic of you slash Vince saying like, no, we have to niche down here? Because some people are like, I I help the state of Pennsylvania,
Right.
or
No.
I help the
Right.
state of Delaware, and I
Mm-hmm.
see you guys as
Hyper local. Yeah.
hyper local.
Totally.
And that, like, was that
Super
purposeful?
intentional. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So tell me
Super
about that,
intentional.
and tell me like how that helps.
Yeah, so we live in a neighborhood that's called technically 40 acres, but I would say the greater Delaware population calls it Trolley Square. Trolley Square is technically a shopping center within the city of Wilmington, but it's where most of the bars and restaurants are all located. So the surrounding neighborhoods people refer to as Trolley Square, even though technically it's 40 acres and Delaware Avenue, and there's all different neighborhoods. But the whole greater, I would say 19806 zip code, a lot of people reference it as Trolley Square. So I saw an opportunity, especially same thing, COVID, all these Instagram pages were popping up for downtown Wilmington, the riverfront of Wilmington, all these different pockets of the city of Wilmington, but nobody was doing anything for specifically Trolley Square, which is where we live and where our office is. And so nobody was really focusing on this little neighborhood. It's like Wilmington's a small city, and then this is an even smaller neighborhood within a small city. And I just saw it as an opportunity. It's an area where a lot of people will graduate from college, especially the University of Delaware. They don't want to move home with their parents, so they move into this Trolley Square neighborhood. There's a lot of apartments. There's a lot of nightlife. And then we also have seen a huge influx of empty nesters that are selling their big mansions and moving into Trolley so they can walk to the coffee shop and have that convenient, life. So we kind of saw, okay, houses aren't selling as often in Trolley. People are holding on to them. There's been more rentals. And I was just like, this neighborhood is so awesome. I kind of see it as like a downtown media, maybe like a fish town, right? A smaller version. And no one was really promoting this area. So I was like, really what set it off is somebody called me and said, where can I get a good bagel around here? And I was like, Pingy. And they're like, what is Pingy? They've never heard of Pingy. It's a small little coffee shop in Trolley. Again, these big Instagram pages for all of Wilmington are just spread too thin, and nobody was focusing on these little mom and pops in our neighborhood. So Trolley Trends was born. That's our neighborhood Instagram page. So we first grew that. Let's get the content up on that. We would just do highlight videos of all the little restaurants, little coffee shops, little, mom and pop hair salons, right? And we just put out content. And then we started slipping in our listings. So now we're like, okay, we have the following, we have the people. Now we can slip in our listings, which grew our page pretty quickly. I think everyone, loves to look at Zillow, loves to look at homes online. So we were giving them that little itch of real estate subtly, while also promoting the neighborhood, and then ultimately subtly promoting ourselves as the team in the area. And it's taken off. I think we're up to like 4,000 or 5,000 followers in 2.5 years. And again, they're very hyper local. We say all the time, I'd rather 5,000 local followers than 100,000 all over the world. We're looking to help our next door neighbor. We're looking to help, your best friend's sister's brother. We're looking to really help our community out. So I'd rather a small following locally than a massive following, around the world. And it's working. It's been great.
We do a lot of PR for our clients, and part of that is influencer marketing. And there's been a huge shift, and honestly, a huge education that we've had to do for our clients of, we might be pitching them like, here are some influencers that we're going to reach out to, and they're like,
yeah, what's that?
They only, or they might say they only have like 10,000 followers.
Right.
Like, I know.
That's
the point, right? Because it's all about engagement, and how like the meta algorithm completely has shifted and changed and been so niche. Like, we would rather have those fewer but more engaged, more trusting.
Right. You feel like those people
because they know because their audience feels like they know them. It's not like a Kylie Jenner.
Exactly. Exactly. You can see right through the ads.
Exactly. So how do you guys think of content marketing? I mean, you really came in, and that was your primary
100
job,
miles an hour.
right?
Yes,
so how do you feel like you built that out, and then like, how did that relate to sales then?
Yeah.
Is it strictly?
Wasn't immediate.
Yeah.
It took a while. So
Yeah.
I would say I would say 6 months ago, we sold our first house off of Trolley Trends. Like someone that slid in the DMs and said, I've been following you. Can you help me find a house?
Wow.
That happened, I think I would say October. So it took over probably 2 years to actually see a return on that time investment. It wasn't immediate, and I would be lying if I said it wasn't discouraging. You know, right in the beginning, you're like, why aren't people knocking on our door? Like, we're doing all this amazing stuff. We have all these followers. It's, you know, our engagement's amazing. Our views are amazing. But it took probably, 2.5 years for us to actually pinpoint a deal that came from that content. So it takes time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like, grand scheme of things though,
Mhm.
you are community building just outside of that content. So I know you have like business owners on your podcast.
Mhm.
So that just builds I always say, if you're focused on sales, you're not focused on the right thing. You have to
Totally.
be focused on relationships,
Mhm.
because sales will come.
Right.
But
On
if
the
you're
relationships.
just focused on sales, that's so narrow-minded and
Mhm.
so kind of scarce
Yeah.
mindset.
Yeah.
Where if you think of relationships,
Mhm.
then everyone is supporting each other. So
Correct.
have you seen, just from, it might not be a DM, but just
Mhm.
word of mouth,
Oh yeah,
how that helps?
100%, especially from the podcast. Our thing with the podcast is we basically we just hit 1.5 years with the podcast. We've been every Monday. We're on episode number 76. I just recorded this week. And our goal with the podcast is to bring in a local business owner, give them exposure to our audience. Again, I'm very passionate about helping these local businesses, because I'd rather walk into a gift shop around the corner from me than walk into Target and spend the same amount of money. So very, very passionate about helping these small businesses. A lot of them are older, or maybe they're young. We have a boutique opening around the corner from us this weekend. She's younger. She's like 22. And it's very much like, let's help you out. Let's give you access to our followers right away. Like, let's give you full access to that. We ultimately want to support you. We want to help you, because if you're thriving, the area is thriving, then we're thriving, and we can all build this up together. So that's been amazing. And then part 2 is we're getting exposed to each other's audiences. So that's been a game changer, just on Reels, especially, saying, we're going to collab on this post. Your 1,000 followers are now going to see us, and our 4,000 whatever followers are going to see you. And it's amazing when they accept that collab. Some people don't. I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
But when they accept that collab, our views will triple or double overnight.
Yeah.
And it feels like this supportive environment. And I think the viewers see like, oh, this is a place I want to be. This is, a team I want to be around, the positivity, the encouragement, having that, especially the entrepreneurs. It's like, you took a risk on yourself, and like, we just love that energy. It fuels me, it fuels our team. And I think people feel that energy when they see our reels or listen to our podcast. And it's been a game changer. And now I'm starting to have people like, I think I know you from your podcast, like strangers coming up to me. It's wild. It's crazy. But we are so hyper local, and we are very engaged in our community. I'm going to go to the coffee shop down the street. I'm going to, I eat at the same 3 restaurants every week, right? So, these people are recognizing us because we're in our market, eat, sleep, breathing. We're all in on this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like niching down to grow.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So you were saying, you love the entrepreneurship, like fire and the hustle and just the passion behind it. And that is really that's really why I love working with entrepreneurs, because they have just such a passion behind what they do. And they have such a belief behind what they do that nothing can get in their way. But you kind of have a very entrepreneurial team as well. I mean, obviously, real estate and a real estate group is different than a typical, company. But how do you foster that fire, really kind of like the intrapreneurship of Garman Group? And I know you have like very interesting goal setting techniques, but like, tell me about that.
The team, they're amazing. When they all came in, it's very much like sky's the limit. Like, there's no roof. Like, there's no ceiling. There's no roof. And something we said to every single one of our teammates when they came on was, if you come here and you're not happy, you're ever not happy, this is not for you, we will help you find what's right for you. Whether it's staying with us and you go into more of the content world, the more admin world, the property management world, we can help you in those fields. But if not, we have the relationships we have are very strong, and we will help you find something else. Like for us, like these people are family. We spend all day with each other. I brought both babies in the office when I had them. So they're my children's aunts and uncles. Like they are our family. And if they're doing well, we're doing well. It's really a team effort. And we're a very unique real estate team. So everyone's, individual. We have multiple businesses happening at all times. We're all individual agents, but we are a true team in that when we sell a house, everyone on the team gets paid. So even if you had no involvement in the transaction, we're very passionate about everyone on the team gets paid, because, if Jade was on a phone call with that client that she sold a house to and Connor covered a showing for her somewhere else, it gets weird in our world with, okay, well, I'm going to Venmo you $50 for that showing, and it gets super messy. So for us, we're very big on everyone gets paid. We're all a team. So when we sell a house, we're all at happy hour, cheers and our beer, just as excited as, if you took the lead, he took the lead, it doesn't matter. Like we are all in this together. And it's amazing. It allows us to have a life. Jade on our team just got married. She's now pregnant. It allows us to have lives so that we can support each other when we're up, when we're down. If someone's in a funeral this week, or, whatever's going on in their life, we just all are so supportive of one another, and we just grow together. There's no ceiling. Like, why can't we just do more? Like, yeah.
Tell me about your goal setting techniques.
Which ones?
In the office.
In the office?
In the office. Like, so I guess we can talk about goal setting big picture. I love talking about goal setting. I love talking about yearly planning.
Yeah.
But you have a very visual approach.
Oh, the mountain?
The mountain. This year's the mountain.
This year's the mountain. Yes, we have a very visual approach. Yes.
So I guess tell me about goal setting, like big picture, and then like how you said it's a team, right? So it's not, your quota or your goal is this, your goal is this.
No, it's a full team.
So tell me about goal setting big picture, and then specifically the mountain, and like really what I want to know is like, what are the conversations like?
Oh, in the office, yeah.
We need like this year the theme is mountain.
Yeah.
Where last year it was like the house.
So first year was the house, then it was the Candyland, and now it's the mountain. Yeah, so we're very visual, and we have a lot of events in our office. So we do like to have a visual representation, which I'll get into. But the number one thing on our team is the line that we stand by is everyone deserves a home that they can be proud of. Whether that's a rental, whether that's a purchase, whether that's a relocation, whatever it is. So the number one goal on our team is to help as many people as possible, especially like that blue collar worker, that person that doesn't understand how a mortgage works. We're at Compass, which is the luxury brokerage. Constantly they're coming to us. How can we increase your price point? How can we get you more in the luxury market? And we kind of are always pushing back. Like that's not really what we're passionate about. Typically the higher price points, they're not the most fun people to work with. They're very demanding. They have a certain, sometimes they'll look down on us. This is my third, I've done 3 transactions, and, I'm in my 60s and you guys are 30 and whatever. So for us, it's not about increasing our price point. It's not about, how much money can we make. It's really truly about how many families and people can we help. So the last 2 years have had a goal of 100 families, right? 100 people we want to help. And then we typically do an additional 40 to 50 rentals a year. So we typically will end up around 150, ish families a year that we're helping, people that we're helping transact on some type of real estate. So that's number one. All of us, come from very hardworking backgrounds. And we just want to help like the normal person who was never taught in high school how to get a mortgage, who never understood, what equity was, how this whole process works. Our number one passion is just helping as many people as possible. So that's number one. We do sit down individually with each agent and kind of get a gauge of where they're at. Okay, you sold 25 houses last year. How many do you want to sell this year? We typically break it down per month. Okay, I want to sell 3 houses a month, 2 houses a month, whatever each individual agent's goal is. And then we kind of collectively come together, and it typically ends up around 100 houses a year. I think anytime we bring on a new teammate, it might increase. But again, it's not really about, how much money can I make? How can I increase my price point? It's just truly, truly how many people can I help? And then to the visual representation, the first year we did a house, we were literally building a house. So we started at the bottom, and every house that we sold, we put a sticky note on the wall. Hey, we sold a house, sold a house. So for us, it's like, okay, we see all these families that we want to help on the wall, and how can we fill in these blocks? It's just a driver, and it just keeps you in your mind. You're like, okay, 100 houses, that's around 10 a month. Like, okay, we can very easily track. Are we on pace? Are we behind? What can we do to, bring more people our way? Whatever that looks like. But this year we did a mountain. So we're climbing the mountain. We're trying to get to the top of the mountain. And we are along the way, every 10 houses, giving away a gift card to a local business. So in past years, when we put up a house, hey, we sold this house, we'll say, I learned this lesson. Or one year we just did boomerangs. We were doing like funny things. We would do the sticky notes. But this year we're shouting out a local business nearby the house we just sold. So if we sold 123 Smith Street, and around the corners of pizza shop, we're going to shout out the pizza shop. And then every 10 houses, we're picking out a house out of a bowl, one of those businesses, and we're giving away a gift card to that local business. Again, like, just very passionate about, like, okay, we have eyes on our social media. How can we bring other people up? Let's keep people excited. And then that local business will share our posts. And now we have access to their audience. And it's just giving us access to people that, maybe wouldn't have come across our page another way. While at the same time, supporting local as much as we possibly can.
I think realtors, I feel like there's many different kinds of realtors, of course.
I'm passionate about this.
But I see kind of like two very specific types of realtors.
Mm-hmm.
There are some that are just so creative.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've seen the best marketing and the best social media marketing from realtors.
Yeah.
The best.
The Selling Delco guys are the best, if you ask me.
Oh my gosh.
If you guys know them. The Selling Delco guys, like, we aspire to be them. We try to keep up with them. Sometimes we'll send videos back and forth, like, you're next. Like, we kind of like mess with them. But they are, I think, the best in this area.
And it's like, not even this area. I know, like, I learned a lot. There was this woman, you probably saw her, where she would play hide and go seek.
Mm-hmm. Silly.
In the house.
Yeah.
So silly and so stinking creative.
So cute.
And it's like, I watched the entire thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not even buying in that neighborhood. Right. And so I see that, and I see the uber creative in your field. And then I see, like, the uber kind of, like, very classic.
Oh yeah.
I should say.
Yeah.
So, ignoring the classics, what do you think makes you and a lot of realtors, especially younger ones, and like this person who does hide and go seek in a house tour that I wouldn't have watched either. It's so creative. Where does that creativity come from? And do you think it's because of the entrepreneurial spirit that you just need to have? Is it because you're just on the go? I mean, you're literally working 24/7
all the time.
I was even saying, I don't know how you work all weekend long and with babies and stuff. So where do you think that creativity comes from like real estate minds?
I don't know. It's sometimes, like, I feel the pressure, like, we do a Christmas card every year, and I feel the pressure to every year come up with something. But luckily, but I mean, there's 5 of us, so someone's going to come up with an idea. But sometimes we do have our moments where we're hitting our head against the wall. Like, there's no restaurant near this house. There's nothing funny we can come up with. And it's hard. And ultimately, like I say all the time, when we're selling a house, we're not helping a buyer. When we're representing a seller, I say all the time, like, we're just a marketing firm that sells houses. Like, it's our job to market your home as best as possible. So that content is so key. So we do have to be so creative, because I think if you're just putting up an address and a picture, it's just, you're going to scroll right past. So you have to have something catchy, something exciting. And it's tough. I'm not going to lie. Some weeks we are hitting our head against the table, like, what can we come up with? But luckily we do have, people nearby, or even in other markets, or even within Compass, that we can kind of brainstorm with, or, support one another with. But it can be challenging. I don't know. And I'm nervous, because I'm like, when is it going to run out? When is it going to run out?
Yeah.
But we'll adapt and overcome, figure it out.
So what is that collaboration like with your team? And I think what's tricky for you, a lot of times when we do social media for a client, we can shoot 90 days of evergreen content, and we really promote long form content for clients because it's educational and entertaining, and it's evergreen and we can use it forever. You guys, you have to quick figure something out, turn it around, and get it out, and do it 5 more times in the next week. So I know your focus is content, but like, how do you manage that? Like, what is your process in your mind of like these steps, right? And then beginning of like that collaboration, do you bring everyone in and be like, we need an idea for X, Y, and Z house that's being sold? Like, because I know everyone on your team is really invested in content marketing also. So tell me about that.
Yeah, it starts from the jump. Like it starts from the first call, right? So if someone calls and says, hey, I'm interested, I might be selling my house, right? That could be 6 months out. That could be a year out, but like that conversation's already starting. Like from before we even sit in the meeting. Sometimes I'll even reference the content I want to create in the meeting, which gets them all excited and jazzed up. And so, yeah, it starts from the first phone call. And then if there's anything trending or going on at the time, like Dave Portnoy just did a pizza review in Delaware, we kind of piggybacked off of that. I'm very big on trying to be relevant and first. Like you can't just post the trend, right? You have to be the first to post the trend because if 5 other agents did it this week, no one cares anymore. So it's sometimes, months in advance we're having these conversations, but sometimes it's like that morning. Like what is on everyone's FYP on their TikTok right now? What is trending today? And we're going to film it today and we're going to post it today. Like I'm very big on we have to be first. And I think our clients feel that energy. And then on the buy side, it's nice because we are very passionate about being first. We want to be the first to tour a house when it goes on the market. We want to be the first every time. We want to be the first offer that they get. So sometimes it is that day and we're all sitting around a room and it's like, okay, you're going to do this, you're going to do that. We're, in the house and we're like, wait, what if we did this? What if we did this? So some days it's that day, but some, like a larger listing, we have one coming up in Garnet Valley right now. Like we had that conversation, what we're going to do for that video before we even got the listing. Like we've been, fine tuning that for months. So it's really case by case.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, and how does that work with like efficiency for you? Like, and that again, that might just be because everyone has a very entrepreneurial mind.
Mm-hmm.
How do you prioritize that so much when
tough.
There's
so much going on?
Everyone's to-do list is so long.
Mm-hmm.
How can you say, everyone drop what you're doing and we have to
hard.
So like how from a leadership perspective, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
like keeping the why top of mind when, sometimes I feel like we're the social media team that everyone hates
right
when we show up to the office.
Yeah, 100%.
But like it is so important. You have to, so how do you manage that with the rest of your team?
Yeah, it's hard. I would say Jade on our team is probably the best. There's only 2 females on our team, me and Jade, and she is very, like, the reason she works so well is because we're both like type A, we're going to get this done. So she's very good at like, okay, guys, everyone put your phones down. We're going to film a TikTok. She'll say, I need 7 minutes of everyone's time. Like put it on the clock. We're doing this in one take. Like I think sometimes we would do like 3 or 4 takes and now Vince is in the bathroom and we're calling him back. Like we've kind of realized if we all just focus and do it one time and get it right on the first time, it's done. Mm-hmm. So she's really good at like, Vince, get off your email, enough. Like, come on, it's time. Like she's really, really good at that. And then ultimately, I think because we are such a team and we are all getting paid on these deals, even if it's Cole's listing, sometimes it's like Jade might be better for this content. Like it might be Cole's listing and maybe he wants his face on the video, but like what we're talking about in it actually lends itself better to Jade. And we're at Compass, and one of our entrepreneurship principles is collaboration without ego. And we're very big at like, check that ego at the door. I don't care if it's your listing. I don't care if it's his sister, your brother. It doesn't matter. What's best for the client, what's best for the deal, what's best for the team will always come first. So even if it's not Jade's listing, I'm like, sorry, Jade, you're in the video this week. Like we need you, right? Or whatever, we all truly will collaborate without ego and like do what's best for the client. And whoever needs to be in it that week, that's who it is.
Yeah. Man. And it's reiterating. I mean, they see the benefit of it. So I think it's that collective vision too of like, this is going to help everyone.
Yeah. But we get the pressure, to your point, we get the pressure. We're starting to get I think we're starting to get some heat from some other agents because I think the other agents are now going into their listing presentations and they're like, well, what video are you going to make? And these agents, I think, are panicking, right? Like, I've never done this before. Like, I think, we're starting to get a little bit of heat. We can kind of feel some eyes on us right now, which I get super nervous and self-conscious about, and I want everyone to like me. But Vincent's like, hey, we don't have haters. We're not doing something right. So, we're starting to feel some heat from it, but this is the way we think it, we think this is the best path, and we're trying to, stay on the cutting edge of, whatever this marketing world looks like. And, we're going to do us.
Where do you see this marketing world going?
I don't think this is going anywhere. I think it's short form content. I think it's max 1 minute, short phone length videos. I don't think that's going anywhere. I don't. I think that's here to stay. Influencer marketing, to your point. I'd rather spend, $500 on an influencer to come to my restaurant than a $500 ad in a magazine. Like for me, I think the influencers are where it's going. And I think you need to get with it or you're going to get left behind.
Yeah. Yeah. So talk to me about your customer experience. That was one thing
Mhm.
that you mentioned.
Mhm.
So like, so your primary is selling
Homes.
homes,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Obviously some buying
Mhm.
homes, but
Mhm.
like mainly selling homes.
Yeah.
Um, for us, we years ago, I really pushed that we need to have a luxury client experience.
Mhm.
How do we make things not just frictionless,
Mhm.
but surprise and delight? You know, all these different elements. How can we be really creative and
Mhm.
like, you know, these people are they're making a big decision to
Huge.
choose you or
Yeah.
choose, you know, my team versus someone else when they could. I
Yeah.
mean, in both real estate and marketing, really, it's a very low barrier to entry.
Oh yeah.
Like
Anyone.
anyone,
Yeah. Yeah.
really
Yeah.
anyone can do it.
Yeah.
So, how have you guys thought about your client experience
Mhm.
and how has that evolved? And then what outcome do you feel like that
Yeah.
really makes?
Yeah. Number one is we are very big on putting the best people on the field at all times. So I think a lot of real estate teams, you get a lead that comes in, it's your sister, and you're going to help her, right? It's your sister, it's your client, it's your lead. Our team, the way it works is when a lead comes in, we're going to put the best people on the field for that deal at that time. So even if Jade's the one that brought it in, how our team works is Cole and I focus mostly on sellers. So when we have a new seller come in, that is a whole experience. That is a whole process. Selling a home, it can take, months, right? So that is a process. That is a lot of hand holding. That is a lot of, weekly updates, what's going on, right? It's a lot of time and dedication and patience. Buy side's the opposite. It's let's get this going. Things are moving quick. We got to get you in, get you approved, get you out, showing houses, writing offers, right? It's a totally different experience. So we have really figured out who is the best with the buyers, who is the best with the sellers, who's the best with landlords, who's the best with renters. We're very big on putting the best people in the field at all times. So make sure that when you're going through that process, you're getting, like you said, the best experience possible. We have these systems down. We have the email templates. We have you know, the content, from the content to the stager to all the things that go into the sales side. It's a totally different experience. It's almost like we should have two separate licenses. It's so different. Whereas I think a lot of other agents is I'm helping these three buyers and these three sellers. And I think your brain can't go back and forth between the two. So we're very big on putting the best people in the field at all times so that we can perfect that process. And I would say within the last 2 years, we really truly have honed in on like perfecting that process. And where I think we really have shined is we're very big on our branding. We're very big on when you come in, you're part of our family. You feel from the moment you walk through our office that you are part of our family, whether it's, a coffee at the table. We're very, very big, heavy on swag. We order, I would say anywhere from like $15,000 to $20,000 a year worth of swag.
Wow.
That we just give out. So when you come in, you walk into our office, you're getting a hoodie, you're getting a t-shirt, you're getting a coffee mug, whatever it is. So you immediately feel like you're part of our team, you're part of our family. Some agents invest very heavy in Zillow and, they're buying leads, they're buying strangers to help them buy or sell houses. We are strictly referral based. So we're working with past clients, their friends, their family, their referrals. And I think it's just true. It's a testament to, them feeling like they're part of our family. So that then when they send their cousin, they know the exact experience their cousin's going to get because they've had it already. They're wearing our hoodie, they're sharing our posts. They're part of our team.
Let's talk about swag.
I'm big on it.
Oh, we just did an amazing swag and merch strategy for Girls Auto Clinic.
Amazing.
It was actually they were our client partner this year for our internship program. So every internship program, it's a 6-month internship, and we challenge them to create their own micro agency, and they all have different positions, and we give them a client partner and a project.
Yeah.
And for their specific one, it was for Girls Auto Clinic down in Upper
Obsessed.
Darby, and Patrice's amazing.
Sounds amazing.
And they did a whole swag strategy, and they got so into it, because merch isn't just about getting your name out and having people wear it. It's like, how can you translate your values onto an item of clothing and someone that shares those same values wears it,
Right.
right?
They
So
want to wear it. When they look through their closet, they pick it.
And and we went really deep. It wasn't just throwing logos on things, because I think that is just like, that's kind of step one.
Yeah,
but it's like
the bare minimum.
What are some of like the Vince isms, the Mary Kate isms that you can put like on a hat, you know? I have so many ideas for like Nolia, but how has that strategy
it's been amazing,
been incorporated? And like, how do you think about it? How do you say it's worth spending 15, 20 grand?
It's worth every single penny.
Tell me why.
It's worth every single penny, because one, if they do choose it, like you said, they do put it on, they're a walking billboard. They're a walking billboard for us. And part two of it is like when you see someone wearing your stuff and then it's like on their Instagram story and you're like, holy smokes, like not only did you wear that around, everyone that you saw that day saw you in it, but then they're, love my new crew neck from the Garmans, tagging us, right? Like we get so much social media engagement just off the swag. So there's two sides of swag for me. We put in 2 big orders a year for like your normal day to day. We're just wearing this, you know, because we like it. We're comfortable. The vest, the zip up, the crew neck, the simple, normal things that you can just tried and true go back to anytime in your closet. And then I would say 3 to 4 times a year, we're doing like the more trendy, quick hit. Like we do a St. Patrick's Day shirt. We have a big St. Patrick's Day event in Trolley every year. And we want everyone walking around Trolley in our shirt with our koozie. So that whole day, everywhere you look, you see the Garman Group's koozie. So there's kind of 2 sides, like that day to day, you know, I'm going to grab this because it's comfortable. We're very big on comfort colors. We're very big on like simplicity, you know, very simple colors, the beiges, the grays, the blacks, right? So that you can match it, low barrier to entry. They're going to grab it every day. And then we also do the like trendy. Last year we did a big Miami Vice order. We were doing the pink and blue hat and the tank top. And that was more so like, I'm going down the shore and I need a tank top to wear to happy hour. Like I need that quick, cool, fun, comfy tank top. You know, I'm not going to worry if I spill a beer on it because it's a, you know, Hanes, whatever. So there's really like 2 different kinds of swag for me. And they both serve their purpose and people love it. And we give everything away for free. We try to be on the up and up. So we did a big, for St. Patrick's Day last year, we did Wilmington across the shirt, and then our GG logo was in the middle. So Wilming, double G, ton. And then, you know, St. Patrick's theme to it. And that was a huge hit, like huge hit. People were signing my DMs, please, how do I get one of these shirts? This is amazing. So yeah, there's kind of like 2 sides of swag for me. And it really just makes people feel like they're part of our team. Like it's a jersey, you're part of our team, you're part of our family. And then, you know, how could they not work with us when they're going to sell their house 5 years from now? They've been wearing our crew neck for 5 years.
I love it.
So yeah, and it makes for great gifts too. So after we meet with the seller, after we meet with the buyer, you know, thank you for coming to our office. You know, here's a crew neck or whatever.
What's the biggest lesson learned that you've experienced in entrepreneurship?
Good question. I don't want to like jump on the first thing that comes to my head because I feel like the list could go on and on. I would overall, I'm not a very patient person. I'm very type A. So kind of what we were saying with Trolley Trends, like it took 2.5 years to get that first buyer. I would just say very much you have to be patient. It's going to take a while for the podcast to take off. I think a lot of people start a podcast, they get to like episode 3 or 4, and then they're like, I didn't get 1 million views. I'm embarrassed. I'm done. I think you just have to be very patient, very consistent. And it will pay off. I do think in time, everything will pay off. You have to be patient. You have to be willing to keep going when someone else would have given up.
What is, for other entrepreneurs or business owners, is there a podcast or a book that you just love that you always go back to that is kind of a guiding light, or maybe a book that you gift a lot?
Yeah, 4 Agreements. We give the 4 Agreements out a lot. Vincent especially, he'll send it to someone on Amazon or whatever. 4 Agreements has been awesome. I really like The Subtle Art of Not Giving whatever. For me, I grew up very much a people pleaser, want to keep everyone happy. I want everyone to like me, especially in this content world. Not everyone likes you. You know, some of our videos have flopped. You know, some of our videos, we get a DM and I'm offended, and, you can't be perfect every time. So I've really honed in on the 4 Agreements and, The Subtle Art, because it kind of like grounds me of like, okay, like in order to be in this world, like you have to not care a little bit. Like you have to just like take it on the chin and make a video tomorrow. Like, okay, that one flopped. We got to do it again tomorrow.
Just let them. Just
let them. I'm only halfway through let them.
Yeah.
So I haven't finished it yet. So I would have said let them if I'd finished it, but I'd feel like a fraud since I haven't finished it
Well,
yet.
I'm even more of a fraud because I've only listened to like
The podcast.
3 podcast episodes about let them.
You get it.
But I get it.
You get it. Yeah, but let them for sure.
Yeah.
Game changer. And at some point you just have to have the confidence to just keep doing it, keep showing up. Especially the podcast. I've been 9 months pregnant on the podcast. I've been 2 weeks postpartum on the podcast. Makeup someday, hair someday, sweatpants one day. Like, this is who I am. I'm authentically myself. I can't be any other way. I almost got super dressed up for today, and then I was like, that's not me. That's not where I'm at in my life right now. You just have to be authentically yourself and just keep showing up every day and just keep chipping away.
Yeah. I'm big on goals, and I'm big on planning for the year and having that year be planned for your 10-year goal.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Tell me about, and sometimes people aren't very open to talking about their goals because, just like you said, we're afraid, like, what if we talk about our goals and we don't hit them?
Yeah, you'll be embarrassed. Yeah.
You'll be embarrassed and you'll feel like a failure. And but you're only going to be, I feel like no one cares about you as much as you do.
Yeah, no,
right?
They don't.
And so I kind of want to talk about your goals,
and
then hopefully talking about it can help me help you with the goals. Like, anyone that's listening can help you with the goals. So do you have any big goals that you're trying to launch this year, or
Yeah, it's crazy. A lot of my goals this year are personal, believe it or not. A lot in the past has been so focused on the business. A lot of our goals are about growing our family. We're looking to venture into a 3rd child. One of our goals was to purchase a new home this year, which we're in the process of doing so that we can grow our family. But I would say business-wise, we also have a property management company, so very big on investing in real estate. My husband and I have purchased a couple homes over the last couple years. So we have rental properties, and we also manage properties for other landlords. That business is 100% owned by me. That's really like my, side passion to all of this. So my goal every year has been to double that business. I achieved it last year. I'm looking to do it again. Looking to double that business. Getting pregnant and moving, and it's going to be crazy. But I'm looking to double that business. So we went from, 10 landlords to 20 landlords. We're up to like 40. Can I get to 80? I don't know. I think that's pretty aggressive, but I am looking to like double that business every year. This year might be tough, but I'm up for the challenge. We're doing well. I mean, it's January. I've already signed on two new clients this year. Looking to double that business while also having a healthy marriage with my husband. I would say healthy marriage.
Partner in business, partner in life,
everything.
All the things.
We are together all the time. It's a blast.
Let's talk about that really quick.
Yeah, we can.
I just got interviewed for an article all about work-life balance. And the managing editor, shout out to Gina Lizzo, she came to the office and she's like, tell me about work-life balance for you. I'm like,
what
doesn't
exist.
That mean?
Yeah, totally.
It doesn't exist.
Yeah, no.
And I think there's this perception.
Yeah.
Tell me, and especially real estate, like we just mentioned, you work
on
the weekends
all the time.
You do showings at night, so talk to me how you balance that. And maybe balance isn't even the right word, but your philosophy there.
Yeah. I would say first off, it helps. Vincent and I were friends first. So with him and I, at least, like, if we're fighting at work, we're fighting at home. It can be challenging sometimes. They can all feel in the office when him and I are off. But luckily, like, the foundation of us is we were friends first. So even if, we're not getting along at home or we're fighting at home, we are able to function in the office. We're able to get things done. So that's been huge for us. Work-life balance doesn't exist, but at the same time, I have the freedom to, at any time, turn one thing off or one thing on. And ultimately, I do think it comes down to, like, your childcare. We have a lot of help. So we're very fortunate. My kids are in daycare. My mother-in-law is retired. She lives close by and helps a ton. We have a great babysitter that jumps in whenever, we look at each other. It's 5:00 and we just realized we double booked and who's getting the kids. It happens once a week. So it really does ultimately come down to, like, having help, and then taking time to, shut off work. Sometimes we're going out to dinner tonight.
Babysitter?
Babysitter tonight.
Mm.
Yep, babysitter tonight. We're trying out a new restaurant that's getting ready to open next week. It's one of the big benefits of having a neighborhood social media page is we do typically get a little invite and a little nod here or there to the new restaurant, which is fun. So we do have a babysitter tonight. And ultimately it's like we were talking about before we started, like we do try to have those like check-ins once a month of how are we doing? How's our relationship? How's our finances? How's our business? Where are we looking to grow? Where are we looking to slow down? And just kind of making sure we're both on the same page. Because if our marriage isn't going well, this is all for nothing. Like ultimately, him and I have to make it through the next 50 years together, whatever that looks like, working together, not working together, more babies, whatever. Him and I, that's number one. So, we constantly have to check in with each other and make sure we're good.
That is so unique, I think, being both life partners and business
partners.
I mean, I know sometimes I'll get home and like my husband works in the hospital.
Yeah.
So like business ownership is so
foreign.
Foreign.
Yeah, totally.
Not foreign because he
sees you.
He sees it, but I'll come home and my hair's like, my hair's like this and I'm like, my eyes are like this. And he's like, are you okay?
Mm-hmm.
Are we good?
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I think it's hard for me to even know where to begin.
Where to start.
I'm like, no, I'm not good.
Yeah. No.
But like you guys don't even have to say words and you know exactly what's going on.
Right.
And
we know how each other's day was. There's no how was your day.
Yeah.
We know how the day was.
And then how do you separate it? And some people say you don't have to, but I'm very passionate about, and I learned this when my first son was about 6 months old, that I cannot work when I have the kids solo. I can't do it.
No.
I can't do it.
No.
I can,
I shut down.
When the kids are really little, I might like bring them back and I tell my team like, hey, you can have my brain, but you can't have my hands.
Yeah,
like
totally.
I can't do anything.
You get one or the other.
If you want me to talk at you, I can talk at you.
Right.
But I have to separate that. So like, do you have any rules or boundaries?
So it took us a whole year. So we have marriage vows that we both very much like stand by, that we, agreed when we got married. But it took us, it was around this time when did we buy? Last summer. So it's been probably a couple months. Last summer, we finally sat down and put together like business vows. Like I finally said like, hey, we're, in year 2.5 now, we're in year 3 of this. We need some rules. Like we need some like general principles that we can come back to. Just because, we just need that foundation. Our marriage has them. So why wouldn't our business? So we sat down last summer and like wrote those out, we can't do X, Y, or Z, or we need to check with each other, this, whatever. So that has helped significantly. It's given me some sanity. But yeah, ultimately where we're at with, what you were kind of referencing with home and the babies, like ultimately right now, how our life is set up, the babies are my baby, the business is his baby. So at the end of the day, if one's on fire, he's going to take the business and I'm going to take the kids. Like that's how it is. My babies are little. They ultimately need their mom more than anything right now. Yeah. So if one's on fire, if we are triple booked and, we have showings on Saturday and gymnastics on Saturday, I'm going to take the kids and he's going to take the business. And that's just where it's at. It'll probably flip flop when they're older. Where they're at, they're 2 and 1, they're babies. I do think Vincent will be better with like the middle school age. So I think we'll flip flop and I always say my best years are ahead of me for sure in this business. I think I'm going to thrive when my kids are in grade school and, out of my little, cocoon. But ultimately, like, at 5:30 when I'm cooking dinner, my work is off and any emergencies that come in, any things that are on fire, he will handle. So I can focus on the kids from that like nighttime hour.
And that is such I don't think everyone loves when I say it, but biology is a thing.
Correct.
And
I 100% agree.
And when you fight against it,
the rest will crumble.
It does not work.
The rest will crumble. Yeah, it's not. And what's the point? What's the point?
It's the reason. It's biology is the reason for the pay gap, right?
Yeah, totally.
How and again, I'm going to get so much crap for this, but how can you pay for the same job, 2 different people? One might have taken off for 2 years, right, to have babies, and the other one is just trucking through, right? It sucks.
Yeah, it sucks
for our industrial, life right now after the Industrial Revolution.
Right.
Our biology was meant for back in the day,
right?
Where
Totally.
we had tribes, we had a literal village.
Yeah.
We don't have that anymore,
No.
right? And unfortunately, and I think it just sucks for women, right? Is we still have that same biology.
Yeah.
And our kids still need us as much as they ever did. But now a lot of times it's a 2-income household.
Right.
And that's what you have to do.
Yeah.
Right. So, and again, I think there's a lot of rhetoric about like how women can do everything a man can do and how we're equal. And I just have to say, if you keep telling yourself that you are equal to your male partner in a heterosexual, relationship, you are setting yourself up for sadness and failure, and because it just does not work that way. And the other thing I think is everything's in seasons.
It's a season.
It's a season.
It's not forever.
No.
It's not forever.
And so
I just put on my social media, surrender to your season. Like you saw that too. You have to surrender to the season you're in. Because if you fight it, like you said, you're fighting biology. You're fighting what you were created to do. And I want to be there for my kids. I want them to remember that mom was always there. Mom was always cooking dinner and was available. And not that my husband's a deadbeat. Like he's there, right? He's there. Mm-hmm. But if a client calls at 5:30, he's answering the phone and I'm not. Mm-hmm. And if Murphy's crying because she has a boo-boo at 5:30, I'm helping her. He's not, right? Mm-hmm. Like it's just by, like you said, biology, and it works for us, and it makes me feel like I'm a present mom, and it makes me feel like, it's right. It feels right.
Yeah. And that's not to mention, and that goes into more things like cycles. And I was just talking to a friend the other day because I was thinking about, I want to do 75 hard. Mm-hmm. This was like last year.
You're crazy.
And then I thought about it. I'm like,
why?
75 hard is not made for women.
No, especially a mom.
Yeah,
no.
So and I think in entrepreneurship, a lot of our idols,
right?
And I don't want to say the word idol, that's the wrong word, but a lot of people that we look up to, that we like really respect in this space, are men.
Yeah.
And they have a 24-hour cycle.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
And as women, we don't. So we are trying to like fit our biology into their habits.
Right.
And
it's not possible.
It sets us up for failure. Yeah. And it's not saying that, and it sucks, right? I wish that, like, if I didn't have kids and I wasn't married, this business would have already been
through the moon.
Through the moon, right?
Yeah.
And I have to recognize, like, okay, that's not where I am right now. Where I am is to create something intimate, create something that is purposeful and intentional, make sure my team is just my absolute top priority,
right? And
our clients their top priority. And am I going to make $10 million this year? No, I'm not. But I will.
Right. And I'm going to be a great mom in the meantime.
I'm going to be a great mom in the meantime.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I really appreciate your time.
This is awesome.
Yeah.
Yes, I loved every second.
Tell me and tell everyone, like, where we can find you, how we can support, all that kind of stuff.
We're at the Garman Group on Instagram. We're at charlie.trends on Instagram. And then I'm Mary Kate Garm on Instagram. Instagram is definitely our number one platform. We dabble into TikTok. Everything we post is also on YouTube. But the bulk of our content's really going to be on Instagram. And then obviously we have a website. But yeah, I would say number one thing to follow would be at the Garman Group. That's like our hub.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thanks.
Thanks
I appreciate
for having us. It was great to be here.
Yeah.